All right, I am going to do a quick exercise to show you how to do real-time audio mixing. So I have a sequence here, and I have an interview, and the sort of interview goes to another interview, and then it stops for a second, and then we go to another interview. So in a sense, we have music that I've laid on here, but it's too loud, and I have interviews that are, going to pop up here and there, and there's pauses in between where I would like the music to come up. So the easiest way, the way that we've used so far to do that, is to have your pen tool on. You can be on your timeline, and you can option plus and minus to make your audio tracks thick enough that you see this little white line. And if the white line isn't there, then what you need to do is you need to go into the wrench, and you have to say, show me the keyframes for video, show me the keyframes for audio, and then these will be here when the tracks are wide enough. But the point is, I've said, okay, well, you can go in and you can say, well, the music should be full volume until right about where she's going to talk, and then I want to set a keyframe there, and then once she starts talking over just a very short amount of time, it's going to drop down to a new volume. Okay, so this is what it would sound like.
And we began, really, to be honest, not knowing much.
That's pretty good, right? Because it at least gets sort of out of the way to make room for her talking. This can be time consuming, and although it's still probably the best way to have real subtle control over things, this is time consuming. So what we can do is we can open our clip mixer, not the track mixer. Track mixer is a whole other animal. I would never touch the track mixer. You want to mess with the clip mixer. We want to adjust volume and apply it only to the clip I'm hearing right now, not every clip that could ever appear on this channel. That's why tracks are too dangerous. We're just going to mess with the clips. All right. So here you can see that there are the two keyframes I just set. I'll zoom in and make it bigger. Now up here in the track mixer, you will see that right now there is no audio on channel 1, so there's not even a slider for it. There is a slider for channel 2, that's where the music is, and you're going to see a slider pop up here once we get to the interview, and you're going to see the volume drop down based on the instructions I gave it. All right, here goes.
And we began, really, to be honest, not knowing much about.
All right, so you saw this nose dive down. Now we have a slider for her voice. Well, wouldn't it be cool if you could just watch this mixer and just raise the music up and down as needed? Well, you actually can, and it will set keyframes while you're doing it. All right, but it isn't always the safest way, which is why I've shown you the by hand method first. So if I was going to do that, I would go back to the beginning and I would tell it that I want to do, I want to write keyframes with the slider as it's playing. So I'm going to turn on this function. Now, as soon as I do that, when I hit the space bar to play it, it's going to start marking keyframes where the volume is, and it's going to change it based on me going up and down. So I'm going to do it for here. We're going to hear her talk. I'm going to bring it back up during this pause, back down again while this soundbite happens. And then you'll notice we go to a different track. So I'll have to stop if I want to make adjustments to this one, and I'll have to tell it I want to be able to control this and make keyframes on this channel as I go as well. But stopping is kind of good because, as you'll see, you can't see the keyframes until you actually stop. So I want to stop so that there's a second or two for me to see it and know that it worked. All right, but we could go through that song and come out the other end when it goes back to this track, and we could make adjustments to it once again. So I am going to probably do that. I'll stop here. We'll switch this one, then we'll switch back and do this one. All right, here goes. I'm going to get ready with this slider, and here we go.
And we began, really, to be honest, not knowing much about human trafficking. We found out about the issue and realized we need to do something about this, and really wanted to rally Christians around the world to rise up and do something at this hour in history.
I was standing on the shore of Greek island, and I saw this boat come in, and it was sitting so low in the water, and just a little bit offshore. Basically, the whole boat, it just collapsed into the water, and I just took my shoes off and just ran into the water. And I was expecting that sense of trauma, or that sense of.
I'm actually going to stop here because I want you to see the keyframes that it made. And if you look, here they are. And it's super exact about each millisecond that you moved it, it saved a keyframe, which is pretty cool. Now, I have an edit in my song. So what I don't know is if this song is going to start at the volume that it used to be set for, or if it's going to start at the volume I want it at now, which is negative 17.2. That's where I left off. So I want this edit to be somewhat invisible. So I'm actually going to go deliberately park on the next one, and I'm going to put in negative 17.2. All right. Now I know it's at least starting from the right place, and I can bring it up before it fades out into the next song. So I'm going to, still with this button on, everything I do once I hit play, it remembers. You want to be sure and turn this off when you're done. All right, and here we go. I'm going to play it, and we're going to round out the rest of this song here. Ready to work the slider and hit spacebar to start.
So much joy in my life. It was just incredible. Like, just see them, like, we made it. We made it out. We escaped. We made it.
All right, so this clip's already really freaking loud. So I'm going to turn off the controls over the track I'm not using right now. I'm going to turn it on for the track I am, and I'm going to pull her down. And I'm going to guess that it's probably around -17 like the first song. I don't know for sure, but at least now I know I'm already close, and I'm going to play it and see if it sounds like it's okay when it starts. I have no slider here until it actually hits the timeline where this track is, so I'm just going to be poised and ready to make adjustments. Here we go. Spacebar to start.
We escaped. We made it.
Some girls have come to this country when they've been promised a better life, they've been promised a job most of the time, a legit job where they would make a decent amount.
All right, so the next track is already too loud. So this one was fine at -19.4, so let's do that to the second one, -19.4. Now we know it's coming in at about the volume that the song that's leaving is, and I don't need probably to control this one because it's about to fade. I have a dissolve already on it. So I'm going to give up control over the bottom track, go back to having control over this middle track, and I'm going to let it play until it finishes, and I'm going to bring the end up just as the song is landing. All right, so I'm going to go right before it starts playing. I'm going to hit the space bar to start, and as soon as I have a slider, I'll start using it.
A decent amount of money to have a family, and they come here and they face a completely different reality.
You've had many incidents that are similar. Being able to be there at a time of desperate need.
And there we go. So that is real-time mixing, super powerful, super easy to do. Now, let's say, for example, I think I was too carried away this whole time, and then I think it was too loud. So first thing I'm going to do is get these keyframes off. So I got to toggle off these keyframes. All right, I can right-click on a clip. All right, and when I right-click on it, I can go in and say I need to make an audio gain adjustment. So when you do that, it says, okay, are you trying to set to a specific volume number that you already know? Or are you trying to adjust it by a certain measurement? I want this 2 inches shorter. I want this 2 dB less. Same idea, right? We're just take this much off. You can also set some normalize the peaks, and some limiting can be built in this way. I've yet to find this to be as effective as I want it to be. But these gain adjustments are fabulous. So if I think I was about 2-3 dB too much, if I think I was about 2-3 dB too loud, I can say, yes, I want to pull it back to -2. And when I do that, all the keyframes, all the occurrences of volumes embedded in this clip are going to adjust by 2 clicks down. Here we go. There. You could barely see it, but it did change down here. And now it's a little quieter.
That are similar. Being able to be.
All right, so that's pretty cool. You can do that to the whole thing. Let's say you decided I got really carried away this whole time, and although I like my mix and I like where it goes up and down, and I think all those the little peaks and valleys are great, but the whole thing's just too loud. I had my headphones on at the time. It was just too loud. All my music's too loud. I could highlight everything, and I could right click it and go into the audio gain, and I could say, let's bring the whole thing down by -3, and boom, it just adjusted all of my audio mix across all of these things. I didn't do the voices, I only did the music. I'm assuming the voices are right.
A little bit offshore. Basically,
now it isn't going to fight it as much. So this is a great way to quickly get your mix under control. And remember, as always, listen to your mix not just on headphones, not just on your computer speakers, but try to listen to it on different size speakers as much as you can. Little tinny computer speakers are a good gauge. Headphones are kind of the worst gauge because you're much more tolerant when you have headphones on of what's a little loud or a little quiet because your brain hears it better. That's why when people really want to hear something, they put on headphones. Your capacity for hearing is almost too good to have that be a reliable way to listen. So get some decent speakers. I sometimes will take a piece and export it and hook it up in my car and listen to, if it's like a commercial with a lot of music in it, I might mix it, put it on a clip that I can put on my phone and play it in my car and see how it sounds. But listening in different environments definitely makes a difference. And this real-time keyframe is super powerful. You just have to remember to turn off that, or else every time you play it, you're going to be making new adjustments you didn't intend to do. All right, good luck.